Hillaby, St. Andrew, Northumberland, St. Lucie. Time to get up. Morning, Barbados.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up.
Good morning, Barbados, good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, 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 morning. Good morning, good morning to you.
Top of the morning to you. I'm Doug Hoyt, along with a wonderful lady, Katrina. Yeah.
Good morning, Doug.
It's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
We were talking about in the chit chat a little earlier how popular you really are. I thought I was popular.
You are, Doug.
In the last couple of days, everywhere I've gone, people have been asking me about you.
You didn't tell me earlier that you'd embarrass me on air, though.
No.
Because I'm going to do the blush thing.
No,
I'm grateful that people are viewing and that they're appreciating the work.
But let me tell you what. You know, she doesn't know where Northumberland, St. Lucie is. I can't believe that.
I plead ignorance.
No,
I've never heard of Northumberland
St.
in my
Lucie
life. But good morning to you if you're viewing from there.
Yeah, it's where the Jordans live. It's the northernmost part of Barbados. You know, in the area where the North Point Surf Resort used to be.
I'm familiar with North Point Surf Resort.
Right, Northumberland, St. Lucie.
Well, Doug, you bring something new to the set every morning, and that piece of information is brand new.
There you go. You live and you learn.
I live and I learn. So it is Friday, the 2nd of September. We're thrilled that you have started your morning off right with us once again. A packed show and lots going on in the world. Once again, I'm lucky enough to be sharing the table with veterans such as Doug Hoyt. He says don't use the word veteran because it makes him sound old, but it just means that you're a fine-aged wine. Fine-aged wine.
You're too kind. I've been around long. Hey, listen, what about that bolt of lightning last night? Or early this morning?
Or early this morning. Usain Bolt got out of the starting blocks and cruised his way to an easy qualifier in his 200-meter heat, completely dispelling any confusion or any of the memory of that awful disqualification.
I know. Nice recovery. And there's some who suggest he clowns around too much.
Yeah, but his coach has come out and said, you know, this is who the man is, and one disqualification does not make an unworthy clown. You know, that's who he's been. He plays up to the crowds, and I would like to think that he perhaps draws some of his energy from that.
So
clown if you must, Bolt. Clown if you must.
Yeah, and Barbados has a new Chief Justice.
We do. All hail Chief Justice Marston Gibson, who was sworn in yesterday by Sir Clifford Husbands, our Governor General, under the proud watch of his mother, Hazel Gibson. He says he's going to look, listen, learn, and observe before he does anything. Yeah,
that motherly influence is very, very important.
It is.
And the Caribbean has a new president of the Caribbean Court of Justice as well.
It was swear-in day. Swear-in day yesterday. So Dennis Byron has taken the oath of office as the second president of the Trinidad-based Caribbean Court of Justice. He says he is a devout and committed believer in the CCJ. So here's hoping that he follows in the very large footsteps left by his predecessor, Michael de la Bastide. There's so much going on in the morning that we just need to make sure that we give you the news first, the top lines, all of the things that you can follow at the top of the hour, and then perhaps we may have a few tips and surprises. So here's Doug with those top lines.
Good morning once again. The new Chief Justice of Barbados has promised to improve the justice system. Marston Gibson made this declaration to reporters following his swearing in before Governor General Sir Clifford Husbands at Government House. The Queen Elizabeth Hospital is reporting a turnaround in its operations. Chief Executive Officer Dr. Dexter James says the institution's performance during the period April to July has been stable. And employees at the QEH will soon be recognized for outstanding work. The hospital will be launching a rewards and recognition program. Countries in the region could receive up to 1.2% of the gross domestic product by implementing a proposed global tax on financial transactions. Executive Secretary of the Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean, Elisa Barcena, says the priority objective of implementing a tax on short-term financial transactions should be to raise resources for financing development. Those are the top lines in the news. More details at 7 o'clock this morning. Time now to take a look at what's happening on our front front page of the newspapers, the Advocate and the Nation, as well as the international news.
Thanks, Doug. But just before we do that, I'm getting a little birdie whispered into my ear saying we have a very interesting weather phenomenon that's occurring outside of our CBC studios in the Pine. So we're going to take a look now to see what's happening in the friendly skies. One of our roving cameramen has been quick off the mark and decided to take a look. Let's have a look. It appears as though there's an area of very low cloud kind of coming in across the city. If we can just peer through the palm trees. Would you look at that, Doug? I can't even tell what that is.
Ah, that's a coconut branch.
Yes, we're quite apart.
Okay, that's some fog rather low in the Pine Basin area. Yeah.
You would normally have expected that in the area of Northumberland, perhaps. But it's pretty interesting how a little change in temperature higher up can change what's happening lower to the ground. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Perhaps nothing to be concerned about, but an interesting play of what Mother Nature can do, and we are not paying attention nonetheless. We go now to our international newspapers. We start with the International Herald Tribune, which is the global edition of the New York Times. We begin with an interesting story from Kaldari in India, where there are going to be IDs for 1.2 billion people as an attempt to link the poor to the surging economy. Across this sprawling, chaotic country, workers are creating what will be the world's largest biometric database, a mind-boggling, complex collection of 1.2 billion identities. But even more radical than its size is the scale of its ambition to reduce inequality, corroding India's economic rise by digitally linking every Indian to the growth juggernaut. So there are things like retinal scanners, there's a name, a record of your birth, and fingerprint scanners. All of it's going on for some farmers who had never seen a computer before. We move now to the United Nations, where the headline reads, UN panel backs blockade of Gaza. A UN review has found out that Israel's naval blockade of the Gaza Strip is legal and appropriate, but that the way its forces bombarded a Turkish-based flotilla trying to break the blockade 15 months ago, killing 9 passengers, was excessive and unreasonable. We move now to London, where there appears to be a silver lining for Europe's banks in the financial bailout of Greece. No bank likes to take a loss, especially those in Europe that already suffer from a toxic mix of thin capital, financing problems, and weak loan books. But in the case of the second bailout for Greece, the one that is supposed to make private investors feel the pain as well as taxpayers, the biggest banks in Europe are on the road now actually pitching the concept. Find out how if you pick up a copy of your International Herald Tribune. You can call our friends at Newspaper Direct at 436-1314 or visit newspaperdirect.com. Now we bring it on home and find out what's happening. It's pretty obvious what's happening on the front pages of both The Nation and The Advocate. New CJ takes charge, and here we see a photo of Governor General Sir Clifford Husbands shaking the hand of a very proud Hazel Gibson as our new Chief Justice Marston Gibson looks on. But the headline says, nurses cry out, polyclinic thieves making health workers sick. Find out just how if you pick up a copy of your Nation. And on the back page, an instructive picture, an instructive headline in smashing form. We're, of course, talking about badminton, and Shari Watson in Barbados is a household name. Find out what she's been smashing if you pick up a copy of your Nation. Once again, new Chief Justice sworn in on the front page of The Advocate. The bottom headline says that skills training is key to improving production. Find out who said that in The Advocate. And on the back page, more discussion between the Queen Elizabeth Hospital and the Barbados Association of Medical Practitioners. CEO Dexter James says now is not the time. Find out what he's referring to. Pick up a copy of your Advocate today. Doug, we've got a packed program, so we don't want to have a whole lot to talk about before we go to our break. We're starting with prayers. Prayers in paradise.
Prayers in paradise. I'd like us to go back to that video, though, in the Pine Basin of that cloud. That was kind of interesting. There you go.
I almost thought we were looking out over the sea.
Yeah, it's in the foreground. What you're looking at is not the ocean. It is low-hanging cloud or fog.
Or mist.
Yeah.
We only speculate. We're not meteorologists.
Or condensation.
Condensation.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Beautiful sight.
It is a beautiful sight, but we're going to take a very short break. And when we come back, we've got a packed Friday program for you on Morning Barbados. So get a cup of something nice, and we'll be right back.
Morning Barbados, good morning.